Welcome back, everybody. This is Debbie from Variety Homestead. Today I'm going to be making soup for dinner, and I'm making Zuppa Toscana soup. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but anyway, Olive Garden sells it. It's a delicious soup. It's one of our favorites. So here we go. Okay, so the reason I decided to make this soup today is you can see it's 66 degrees. That's about as warm as it's going to get today. And so it's a cool fall day. And Monk is out on our property. It's first day of hunting season. So he's back out there hunting deer. So I figured I'd go ahead and get this cooked. And then I can put it, once it cools down, put it in the fridge. And then heat it back up for dinner because we got a lot of other stuff that we need to do today. So I wanted to show you what the ingredients are in this. So I have 3 potatoes sliced. It calls for 4, but I opened a quart size jar of potatoes the other day for another recipe, and I have these left over, so I don't want to waste them. So you should put 4 potatoes in this soup. And I keep the skins on them because to me it gives it a little more flavor, and it's kind of rustic looking. And then it's 1 large onion chopped. And then of course Italian sausage. I got this at Aldi's. You can either use mild or hot. We don't like a lot of things hot, so I'm going to use the mild. And then I have salt and pepper. I have 3 garlic cloves chopped up right back here. And then it's 8 cups of bone broth. And then 4 to 6 cups of water. I have that in that jar. And then it's about 2 tablespoons of chicken base or chicken bouillon, or like 2 bouillon cubes. And then I have 4 pieces of bacon that I fried and crumbled up. And then I have 1 bunch of kale that I washed and cut up. And also calls for, let me see, I can't remember a recipe I wrote down. 3/4 cup of heavy cream, or half and half. And I have half and half, so that's what I'm using. And then what I've done was, after I fried up the bacon, I saved the bacon grease because I'm going to fry up these onions in here and get them soft. And then I'm going to add the Italian sausage. So instead of adding oil, I'm just going to use the bacon grease for added flavor. Okay, as you can see, these onions are they're cooking up real nice. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 pound of the Italian sausage. Oops, got the paper in there. I'm just going to crumble that out and cook it through. And as you can see, it's starting to turn, and yeah, it is sticking to the bottom. That's all right, because I'm going to take a spatula when I add the liquid, kind of deglaze the pot with this. And I am cooking this over a medium heat. Okay, guys, I'm going to use my little handy dandy masher. It kind of breaks the meat up. Sorry about this camera angles, but it's kind of difficult to do this, film it and cook it at the same time. Looks pretty done. And I'm going to go ahead and add some broth. Okay, I deglazed the pan, and I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit on this. and finish adding the liquids here. So I'm adding the rest of the chicken broth. And I'm just going to add 1 jar of water right now. So that was 32 ounces. And I'm going to add the seasonings now. Okay, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt. Oops. About a half teaspoon of pepper. And you can add more if you like it. And then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of chicken base. And I buy this bulk, and then I package it up into my canning jars and vacuum seal the lids. Okay, so now I'm going to stir all that up. And it's really amazing. Those are, besides this and the garlic, which I'm going to add next, is really the only seasonings besides what's in the Italian sausage that you add. So I have 3 cloves of garlic. Stir all that up. And now I'm going to add the potatoes. Okay, first I'm going to add my jar of canned potatoes. Yeah, I canned these from our garden last year, and they're really handy to use in soups and things like that. Pot pies, I use a lot of the canned potatoes in the pot pies. Okay, now I'm going to add the fresh potatoes. And that's why I held off on that water, because I want to make sure I have enough liquid in here. And those potatoes are going to cook down. And if you need to add more water, you can. You just want to taste the broth and make sure that you have, if you add more than the 6 cups of water, you might want to need to add more chicken base. So I'm going to cover this up and let it boil. And once the potatoes are soft, then I'm going to add the bacon and the kale. That kale is going to shrink up a lot in here, and I add the bacon last because it can get really soft. It's going to get soft anyway, but you know, I try to really cook it crisp, and it does. That way it won't disintegrate in the liquid. Okay, as you can see, it's boiling real well right now. So I'm going to cut this down and just to continue to cook this on like a low boil until these potatoes are done. I slice them real thin so they'll cook faster. And yeah, look, they're coming right apart there. Yep, they're done. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this soup out. And I'm pouring it in. Take another scoop. Into a measuring cup. Because I want to add the half and half to this. I don't know if the half and half will curdle up on me or not. So I'm just going to temper it in. But while that's cooling down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add the kale. And I'm going to add all that kale. I know it seems like a lot, but it does. It does shrink up a lot. And it was just one bunch of kale from the grocery store. I'm growing it out there, but in the yard, in our garden. But I'm just stirring this up. But it hasn't, we haven't had a freeze yet. And one thing about greens is that they don't really taste good until a freeze has hit them. And it kind of sweetens up the greens. So they're a little bitter. So, see how much that kale shrink down? All right. And now I'm going to add the bacon bit. Or I should say bacon. Stir all that up. Okay. Now I'm going to add the half and half. Okay, so one thing I want to mention with this soup, if I'm going to can it, which I do, I always can it before I add the half and half to it. So I can cool this off, let it cool, or I can put it right into canning jars and can it if I wanted to. I actually have some canned. And then if I'm going to take it off the counter, out of the cans, I bring it back to a boil and then add the half and half to it. But I'm not going to can this. We're going to eat this. So I'm going to go ahead and add this half and half, this hot liquid, that soup, and then I'm going to pour it on in. And then stir it up. And there you have it. And it is absolutely delicious. And what I'm going to serve with it are breadsticks. I got these breadsticks. I'm going to mix some olive oil and butter and garlic, and then brush them on and bake them in the oven. And then I'm going to sprinkle them with Parmesan cheese. So it should be just like going to Olive Garden. And like I said, you can do this soup. It's not hard, and it is absolutely delicious. I hope you like and subscribe and try it out. You're going to love it.